Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. My name is Kyron Mountain, and I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long, and then now YouTube's got the whole podcast tab on the creators content. I know this is a YouTube channel, but I come from a podcasting background. I come from a radio background, and I am so excited to bring my special guest today. Hopefully he'll stick around for a few more episodes. Flying-Barracuda, thanks for joining the show today. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Barracuda, how did we meet? What were you doing when we met?
I believe we met over at your mate, not my mate, your mate, Ted of Garlic's Twitch stream. I remember.
Oh, yeah, I remember you came in and I was like, oh, when did you get here? Just being a dink.
Yeah, I think I was woofing with someone else. Anyway, whatever.
It. But the important thing is Barracuda is a streamer. He is over at twitch.tv/FlyingBarracuda.
Yes, that's something you might hear a fair bit in this podcast.
You might hear a couple of them. Coming up also in this podcast, we're going to be doing a watch through of Ahsoka episode 4. This is the mid-season, and we'll be doing our mid-season review right after that. Included in that, we'll also have some news, talking all Nintendo stuff from this week, and we're going to get to know Barracuda a little bit better.
Just a tiny bit. All right, just a tiny bit.
What did I miss?
What did I miss? What a way to start a... wow. That's awesome.
I know how to find
It was weeks ago we watched the last episode. We've got to focus again.
Been quite a while ago. This is helpful.
Weird. Yep.
So I realized, remember I was bitching last week how short the episode felt?
Yes.
It was only 30 minutes.
Well, that's why it felt short.
Exactly. So have we talked about how I think Sabine's going to be a dark side user?
You sent me a video on it.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
sure
it's
I
not
agree
my
with
idea.
that,
I'm not taking credit for the idea, but I'm in on it. I like it.
Okay. I feel like it's been done though. I feel like
Who's been a dark side Jedi?
oh no, she's not like well, you can't be a Jedi and on the dark
That's the
side.
thing. I think that's why she's going to be the first.
But I mean, by definition, the Jedi listen to the will of the Force.
The Jedi are all dead. They don't need the guys with the rods up their asses are gone. They can change the rules now.
Be like the first atheist Christian.
Right. Let's do it.
Not sure how it works.
If we can't make the journey to find Ezra, then no one should.
I mean, I get her logic, but it sounds super immature.
No, I like that.
If I can't have it, no one can.
But it also means bringing Thrawn back.
No, I'm saying it's just the way it's worded. It sounds super childish. It makes perfect sense.
I'd just do it out of spite, to be fair.
Bring Thrawn back just cuz?
Oh no, I'd block him off. Just go, oh, there you go, shut the gate. Bad luck, Chief.
Can I count on you?
Was she gonna say no?
I don't know, maybe. Do you know what I think though? Okay. If I'm gonna get like, well, actually, I think Ahsoka would have been able to use the Force and feel that she had fear in her heart and was lying. Right? That could happen. Like she was testing her to see what answer she'd give her. Or is that giving Ahsoka too much credit?
Which begs the question, why ask it?
Well, no, why ask it? Because you want to feel her emotional spectrum, right? Fluctuate. Like she wants to read the lie detector. And if she'll tell you the truth.
Interesting.
Just popped in my head. I'm not sold on it. I want a Star Wars what if.
Yeah. Oh, I mean that's an open book, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Like what if Obi-Wan was the chosen one instead of Anakin or something?
What if Obi-Wan didn't bang Satine?
He didn't.
Well, you know.
What if he did, is what you're saying?
No, I believe he did. No, he did. And that's what, you know, what nephew, what's his name?
You think he's
Corky or something?
He's an Obi-Wan?
Yep. 100%. Like, imagine having the power to be a tyrannical, you know, Force user, and then having no one to be tyrannical over. I'd be pretty depressed.
True.
Like,
How do you feel of Balin? Do you like him so far?
He's a bit meh.
Really?
Meh for me.
He's top.
He
He's
hasn't
like
done
S
anything.
tier for me, man.
He hasn't done anything
That's
yet.
a video
Maybe
we
later.
should do. We should do a shared rank Jedi video.
I like
where we
that.
rank
I
characters.
really like that. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
And then we can just bitch and argue.
100%.
You know those gotcha cans where you buy a toy and you never know what toy is inside? Kids get them.
Oh,
They've got that for
Yeah.
kyber crystals.
do you know what's a scam like that? I saw so San Diego Padre is selling game used baseballs with a barcode on them, and if you scan the QR, I think it's a QR code actually. If you scan the QR code, it shows you the exact play that ball was played in, and it's like a mystery box thing. And they market it like, oh, you can get a free home run ball basically by buying one of these. All of them are just like these foul balls that get one little shot gets scuffed and whatever. I'm not paying $20 for that.
So the thing is, you got a good chance of just getting a foul ball and not like a home run ball. Well,
Well, you think about how many foul balls happen in the game.
Well, the other thought is, how many foul balls are they able to retrieve? How many home run balls are they able to retrieve?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah, you're
think of the odds.
getting all foul balls,
Exactly.
or maybe a game ball here or there.
And they had mountains of the stuff. I was like, who's buying these?
I might buy one, just be like, I got a game ball, right? A cheap way to buy a game ball.
True. Yeah, one.
One.
I think they were banking on everyone buying half a dozen.
Regardless of our personal.
By the look at the stack in the video, it was huge. I saw lots of people criticizing, Ahsoka doesn't look like the animated one. I was like,
How does she not look like her?
but I was like, which live action character does look like an actual
Him. He
an
does.
animated character? Which animated character looks like
This guy.
a real person?
Right here.
Oh, does he?
He looks just like his
I mean, he is a robot.
I think he was a little bit more gold or bronze. But remember, he said at the beginning he's like still 75% himself or something.
Okay.
Or it could have been the lighting in the Jedi Temple. Oh, I love his eyes.
Oh, jeez. I was looking way too close to the screen.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Get him, get him.
Oh, he can fight. He's got arms on top of his arms.
How do you not love this droid? He's top level droid for me.
He might grow on me. We'll see. It's a long series game. We
No,
can't.
it's not. We're halfway through.
Are we? Is it 8 episodes?
It's only 8 episodes,
6?
man. This is the mid-season peak.
You know, you're risking an awful lot by doing this.
Oh, it's this guy.
I love this guy.
I know this guy.
Rebel, always a rebel.
On your signal, Phoenix.
I don't know his name though. That's the thing. We need to learn his name because he's in everything.
Yeah.
He's not just this guy.
No, he's not Dave Filoni. That's his name.
Right. If it was Dave Filoni, I would keep calling him this guy as a joke.
No, because I remember the first time it was like him and Dave Filoni are the ones in the X-Wings. They picked him up that time.
Was Filoni with him? I didn't recognize him.
Yeah. No, he was. He was in the...
Well, that's cool then.
Yeah, it was cool. He was in his full-on X-Wing fighter pilot get up a lot.
That was just an excuse for him to get a suit made in his size, and then for it to suddenly go missing off the set.
Is she using magic? Like,
Yeah, with a K apparently.
yeah. So like maybe it's... I mean, we have heard Dathomir a couple times already in this show.
True. Wait, remind me, Dathomir. That's Anakin's
That's the
base,
Night-
right?
No, it's the Night Sisters.
Yes, where Maul's from.
Yeah.
Well, she's a Night
Witches.
Sister, isn't she?
Well, that would explain that.
Yeah, she's a Night Sister. I'm almost certain.
Okay.
I was rewatching stuff, man. Her character goes all the way back into the Mandalorian. Remember when Ahsoka or when Mando got that big spear of Beskar? That was from her.
That's one of my all-time favorite weapons.
Yeah.
The Beskar spear. Inquisitor? Ex-Inquisitor?
Current Inquisitor. It's in the
That's cool.
timeline. He could be a current, right? But like, what makes him an Inquisitor? Just the blade?
Well, that is the blade that only
Helmet
Inquisitors
kind of looks like
had.
one too, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. I presume the Inquisitors... Well, the program would have stopped Maybe not. I don't know.
I feel like
Good
Vader
question.
kind of started the Inquisitors, right?
Yes. There's some canon explanation, isn't there? Something like that. They're gonna kiss. Yep. That is witch behavior.
Okay, so I want to pause it. Can I pause it? Is that chill?
Please, yeah. No, go for it.
Okay.
Because remember when Savage Opress died, and because he'd been built and fused with the dark side magic and whatever, all the green stuff came out of him,
Yes.
and then he shrunk and died.
Hold on to that point
Same.
though for a second. Okay, hold on to that point.
Mhm.
So remember, I think it was a week ago, you and I were talking about Force ghosts and giving up the ghost, and how when Vader and Obi-Wan fought, I felt like Obi-Wan literally gave up the ghost. He didn't get struck down. You can't strike me down, Vader. I think he says something stupid like that. So I'm still on the side that I think you have to be a light side user to walk as a Force ghost, right?
Absolutely.
Did we just see like almost the equivalent of the dark side Force ghost then?
I'm not. Look, maybe.
Because we've seen bodies be brought back, but that was like, he was like methane gas.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the thing I would say is I don't think you can have a dark side Force ghost.
Agreed. That's my
Right.
headcanon.
But I don't. To me, anyway. To me, that looked like how Savage Press started to die. Anyway, so
You're saying Darth Maul's brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when he died, all that exact smoke lifted from him. But remember,
That's right. And he lost all of his size and his force ability.
Right?
and
Because
this and
they
that,
gave
whatever.
him that juju, and the smoke entered him then, right?
Correct, and he grew a whole heap and all that.
So what if instead of going into like a body, a dude, they just kind of trapped it in a rubber suit?
That's right. That's my point.
Is that what we're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think that being whatever it was,
I
either
think-
was being kept alive with dark, like the witch
Dark
magic,
Force juju,
or,
yeah.
or it was a complete creation of dark.
What if
Dark Force juju is what we're going with?
I don't want to use the real term, because then we'll be using the wrong term probably, right?
I like juju. No, juju is good.
Well, because is it magic? Is it force? Is it like, is juju? Is juju
Yeah.
a big enough overarching? But so okay, what if now that, because I'm with you, I'm agreeing with you. Okay, I'm on board for this one now. Now on top of that, what's the guy's name? I can't pronounce it. Maul's brother, Ventress?
Savage.
When did he die in the timeline? Would it have been before this?
Count Dooku killed him.
Oh, so it would have been totally before this. What if that was the same
No,
ghost?
Palpatine killed him. Sorry.
What if it was the
Palpatine
same
killed him.
ghost power juju that was in him that just got released of Barrack or Merrick or whatever his name is? Like, what if it's like, what if the ghost, like, she summons an entity to enter you and give you power and boost you, and you don't realize that maybe this thing's going to take over, right? And maybe it's this, she just found a way to just put the same spirit guy in the suit now. I'm just like, I don't know, trying to make connections where there isn't.
No, I don't know. I feel like I think that sort of thing's gonna have to be explained, right? Because nothing happens like that elsewhere in Star Wars, so therefore it needs an explanation.
Oh, they
right?
pulled. They pulled. What's it called? A New Hope, where Obi-Wan gets killed. Right? They didn't explain that we're shit.
Yeah, I think we're. Yeah, I mean that was the first ever.
But
movie,
they didn't
I
explain
guess.
it in the first three. They never explained it. They're just like, oh, Obi-Wan died somehow. Why did it look funny? And now he's a Force ghost. We didn't understand the Force ghost shit until we got that bit from Obi-Wan telling us that Qui-Gon learned how to join the living Force, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's what I'm saying is like, this is great. I love this. This feels like Star Wars because they're doing really cool shit where we get to go, what just happened? Like, I get to make up my own thing. Because I know when I watched Obi-Wan die as a kid, I was like, was that really low budget? Or what was that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's both. It's both now. I think at the time, yep, that's the only practical way to make someone disappear And also,
Well, and I think it also helped with the age rating for the movie, if I'm honest.
well, yeah, that's right. I mean, I've seen the Lucasfilm documentary where they're like, well, we're hanging the cloak, and then they were really proud of themselves because they got it to drop, and it looked like it was all happening at once, kind of thing.
It did.
But also, what I was going to say is, how you're saying with Qui-Gon, when I read the novel of Revenge of the Sith, and this is a library book in.
So that's episode 2, correct?
3.
3K. That's why I asked.
In it must have been around 2010, 2011, right? And one of the last lines of that book was that Obi-Wan went off to Tatooine under the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn to learn how to become one with the Force, kind of thing. Which seemed like that is a very long time back that they knew, that was how it was going to go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in order for that to be there, then like George Lucas would have had to have known that in order for Obi-Wan to be able to know how to become a Force ghost, that he had to have learnt that from somewhere. And
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if you're talking to someone who was around before the prequels happened, we all, at least my understanding at the time, and after talking to people, was that was just how Jedis died. All Jedis just died that way. So when Qui-Gon actually got stabbed, that was a surprise that he didn't just turn into a cloak. So I think it's just that, and that's what's so cool about Star Wars is as it grows, we're like, no, back here it says this, so that means that, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's the coolest thing about Star Wars. Last thing before we hit play again, are we going to see Merrick again? Do you think is he dead, or is he just been taken out of battle?
I don't think that was him.
You don't think that was Merrick? You think that was just a stand-in?
I think it was just a goon. I think it was just a goon with an Inquisitor saber. Yeah, I think he's still back at base with old mate.
Okay, well, let's hit play and find out then.
Please, let's do it. She's terrified. I'm gonna touch Tibbs. Now, what do we reckon? The hyperdrive ring is defended by a shield generated by a nearby moon.
Oh, yeah. We got to do that.
And there's some fluffy creatures.
No, not fluffy this time. Let's do scaly. But
I was thinking scaly.
Still cute, though.
With, like, really big teeth.
And eyes.
Yeah.
For the help with the cuteness.
How inevitable.
He looks upset. He's like, did we have to do this?
I think he knows her. He knows that she would not turn it down.
I love his lightsaber. I think if I were to buy anyone's, it'd be his.
Okay.
It's like a damn broadsword. Do you see how much gap he has? He's like holding Maul's lightsaber, but it's only a single blade.
Yeah. He's got length and girth, that's for sure. Got Obi-Wan's fighting pose. Her lightsaber's curved like Count Dooku's one.
Whose?
Ahsoka.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Where the hell did this room come from?
She's on the ship, remember?
Ah, I see.
I think I caught a little ship flying up to it even.
Right.
In the
I
background.
thought she just walked off screen and was just like,
well, she did. I mean, that's literally what she did. The actress.
Oh, so this is the base guarded by the Ewoks.
Yeah, this is like the Stonehenge that he needs to guard. And she's up on the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Are they like downloading the map or something up there? Like that, why the clock thing is there?
I guess so.
He's just defending the thing. He's not even going after her.
Oh, you went after her pretty hard to start with.
To start with, yeah.
Oh, it's
but I mean, now he's
symbolism.
just...
She's leaving her Mandalorianness behind. Oh, probably could have used the helmet there.
Beskar!
The galaxy is at such a point where there's so little Force users now. So many of them have been killed.
Fair enough. There should be extra midichlorians for the other guys.
No, it's the diodes of the Force, right? That's why Rey and Kylo Ren are so powerful.
Oh, you think so, eh? You don't think it's because they're Skywalkers and Palpatines? That's why, in my mind, that's why those guys are so powerful. They come from genetically powerful Jedi.
Yeah, both, but like the Force manifests itself. When there's less people, they're more powerful. When there's more, they're less powerful.
Oh, I'm yin and yang. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this is the exact same orb that was in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. You know the one where they have a dance off?
Yeah.
So I'm keen for the dance off. Oh. Yes!
Ooh, that was her head.
That's the NFL experience.
Balin's mad.
Come on, Ahsoka. I know you're out of practice. You destroyed Darth Maul.
Is she dead?
Don't think so, mate. Otherwise, the series would be called Sabine.
Bro. Was the Mandalorian really about Mando? Was Boba Fett really about Boba?
Boba Fett was.
Was Obi-Wan really about Obi?
No. That was about Leia. It was very good too, in my opinion.
You liked it?
I really liked it.
Okay, it was Ted that didn't like it. I loved it too.
I thought that was just
I mean,
my
it had
favorite piece.
It had weak points, and like leading up to the point where Obi and Leia went on her adventure was kind of slow. But I mean, the same thing happened with Andor, and it's one of the best.
I know you feel that extra bridge.
The rebels or whatever, the whole show, they're all kind of like, I'm gonna save my friend and then deal with the consequences later.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that whole show was.
We're stronger together, Finn.
Yeah, we'll deal with it once we're together. Yep. See?
Not a great plan. And now you die.
Lord Balin has remedied the situation. Calculations are complete.
He's remedied the situation.
What a way to word it, hey?
That's brilliant. Her job is literally just to stay in character by just smirking at everything. All she does is smirk. Like, whenever it cuts to her, she's just like, you know, pulling her face.
Fair enough.
What happens if you're in the middle of the hyperspace ring when it goes off? You get yeeted the other way or what?
You get sent back in time.
Yeah. Oh.
Hera!
Destroy her. It's a trap.
Ignore them.
Ignore them?
Engage
They're
them.
blocking your path.
Rabbit speed!
Shit.
I think you're gonna get your question answered, bro.
Please, please destroy them. Please. Please. I want these. I need these.
I want this. I need this, mommy, please.
Destroy them. Destroy them.
Man, not the Phantom, and not the bearded guy we like.
Carson, are you reading this?
Shouldn't have
She
left
brought
the
her
ship.
kid.
It's the High hyperdrive.
Bye-bye.
They're gonna jump.
Go, please. Yes. How is that ship still in one piece?
It's the Phantom. It can do anything. Dave Filoni
That
designed
is-
it.
That is bullshit. Why didn't they get vaporized?
Because they have the plot armor shields.
I want it to be like Holdo driving through Snoke's ship, alright?
Mom,
This little rat survived. I'm
I
disappointed.
got a bad feeling.
Oh, don't you even start.
About this. Get it? I got a bad feeling about this. Yeah?
That is so undeserved.
Why?
Well, he should be particles.
Oh, you're still upset they're not dead.
Yes. I missed it. Did she actually get sabred in the face, or is she just chilling down there?
I don't know, man. I saw a saber hit saber for a second, but it doesn't mean she didn't get
Yeah,
hit
that's what I
too,
thought.
right?
But then she just sort of fell off the back of the thing. I don't know. That is... God damn it. They keep doing this.
Doing what?
They just keep cucking you at the end of these episodes. How long was that one?
That one was another half hour.
God damn it. I knew that should have all been one.
A lot of people on the internet said exactly that it should have been one episode.
Well, I hope Anakin can help her.
Is that Anakin?
It should be.
Or is it
right?
Vader?
What are the rules of the world between worlds?
Maybe you can only go in there if you're light side.
But, I mean, it gets visited in Rebels, I know. But I don't know what the rules are for it.
Only people I've seen in it in Rebels was Ahsoka, Ahsoka's owl person, and Ezra.
Didn't Palpatine try to get there?
in, but he couldn't. So I don't know if that means he can't get in or...
I mean, without any actual knowledge, right? I get the feeling that it would be the kind of place where the living force and the cosmic force meet, right?
Oh, okay.
So
there's different
I
kinds of
feel like-
forces now?
yeah, like the cosmic force is the like the will, right? Like when they say the will of the force, that's the cosmic force. And then like the power, where you can make stuff move, and whatever. That's the living force, right? That's the force that's in every single being. The midichlorians help a force user listen to the will of the force, the cosmic force, right? So I would presume that like a world between worlds, the rules would be that a force ghost could exist in that plane, for want of a better term, because a force ghost is part of the cosmic force, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's like, to me anyway, that's what that means, is like she's meeting Anakin's force ghost.
So this is just literally the guy, Vader died, became a force ghost, joined the Ewok party, and then that guy
That's right.
moved on, and is this one we just saw.
That's right.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
That's my... But I mean, I've also heard other people say, some people have said, a force ghost is only a manifestation in someone's mind.
So,
right?
so
And it's like,
only
well, that
Luke
doesn't-
can see Qui-Gon kind of thing? Or Luke can't see Qui-Gon, but... No, I don't believe in that. Because, like...
No, neither, because it doesn't make sense.
No, because you clearly see Obi-Wan and Yoda talking together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, anyway, yeah. So to me, that's what makes sense. Must preface that without any knowledge of how the World Between Worlds works. I haven't watched Rebels.
You have as much understanding, it sounds like, as anyone else.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be awesome to explore that, right? A place where, you know, where the two worlds collide, right? The living and the non-living in a way. Especially like if Anakin is, you know, sentient and whatever, and this is also a place where you can it's sort of like a portal room in a lot of ways too.
That's what I was almost thinking. Like it's like an underground, like theoretic, like not metaphorically underground labyrinth that can get you anywhere and any time, any place.
That's right. So I guess the next episode is Anakin, you know, reconciling whatever Ahsoka needs from, you know, that wasn't fully reconciled.
See, I don't think he's there for good. I don't think he's there because when it ends and it cuts, it goes to Vader's theme music. So is he? I don't think he's here for good.
I don't know.
You know what I
mean,
bet?
it went to his,
you know what I bet?
Music. Yeah.
I think him and Thrawn knew each other, and he's helping get Thrawn back.
Well, he knew Thrawn through being Darth Vader.
I think
Vader
Thrawn is one of the
other,
people that figured out he was Anakin, though.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, like, they were kind of buddies. Like, if I don't know about you, if I was Vader and I didn't like a guy and he found out I was Anakin, force choke, you're dead. No big deal. Okay, bye.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're still alive and you know you're special, or he's trying to kill you.
Maybe. I mean, Anakin always respected great military leaders, and Vader also did.
See, I think maybe this is where we come at it from a different generation, because for me, I always came at it as Vader's a bad guy. Vader's a bad guy. Yeah. He's a bad guy. But you grew up watching the prequels where Anakin was building, like he was a good guy. He was a good, until people realized that, wait, these 3 movies are about how Vader got made.
That's right.
So I think like I had already made up in my mind, like watching this little shit, and I'm like, you're a little snot. You're going to become, right? And even watching the Clone Wars, I gained mad respect for Anakin, but it was just like, I didn't put enough into him, I guess, like you did.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Like, and I feel the opposite way about like Luke Skywalker. Right? Luke Skywalker isn't someone that I relate to in many ways at all, but I know for a lot of people that watch like the original stuff, at the time, like Luke Skywalker is like right at the top in terms of...
So you'd say, okay, like out of the 3 trilogies, which Jedi do you represent yourself? Like, do you see yourself closest to?
Probably the prequels.
You'd say Anakin, though, right?
Yeah, Anakin or young Obi-Wan. Yeah. I mean, Anakin was so annoying as well. Like, he's so annoying. But like, that's part of it, right? Of course he's annoying. He's incomplete.
But it was like the prequels Anakin was annoying, but the Clone Wars Anakin wasn't.
Oh, he was annoying. Yeah, no.
I didn't think so.
I mean, the way he just so foolhardily goes into things and has a recklessness in terms of he might be all right, but everyone around him might not be, kind of thing, with the decisions he makes and stuff like that. Which I don't know. They've done such a good job, in my opinion, anyway, of sort of bridging the gap between whiny kid and Darth Vader, right? They've been able to flesh it out so much better, through the Clone Wars, even through like Obi-Wan, all this stuff, right? Even in retrospect, stuff like this, stuff like what was the other one? Even like the sequels, right? They just they add bits and pieces and stuff, and it makes it, as I said, like it bridges that gap between, some kid having a tantrum about, he didn't get his way, he didn't get his spot in the Jedi Council, and then all the things we learn about the Jedi and his relationship with Palpatine and how corrupt the Republic was and how far the Jedi had strayed from their way and all this kind of stuff, and it starts to make sense. Like it's not a perfect story. They're doing their best, but like it starts to make sense. So like, I don't know. I feel like in my opinion, the Anakin we're getting here, I feel like it should be, and I think it is, Anakin's Force Ghost. And I think because there's so much, right, so much history between Anakin and Ahsoka, right? Ahsoka leaves him, you know, as a Padawan, comes back, you know, they didn't fully sort out their differences. He disappears, right? She goes her own way. Order 66 happens. You know, she figures out that, you know, Darth Vader is Anakin, right, in Rebels. So I feel like this is an important step, right? Because I think a lot of, like, even the first 4 episodes, there have been times where it's like, well, we don't fully recognize this version of Ahsoka. She's very reserved, very cautious, quite jaded, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas where we left off, because predominantly this is a Clone Wars character, you know, there was a very
100%. You know, she's almost been exclusively, right?
That's right, and she was so brash and optimistic and you know, those sort of qualities, that to see her 40, 50 years later, probably less, maybe, I don't know, whatever it is, and you know, she's holding stuff back. She's like, well, I don't want to fully invest in training Sabine. I don't really want to fully put myself into this. I don't really, you know, she's a little bit lost. And I think part of that is, right, she's been fighting this battle this whole time, right? She fought the Inquisitors, you know, she did all the stuff in Rebels, right? For her, what's the point of sort of, you know, maintaining the level that Anakin sort of trained her to be? And so now we've got a situation where she's going to need to go to this different galaxy, right?
Yep.
And she's going to have to find a way to resolve whatever situation's coming up. So I feel like this next episode could be a really good time, one, to reconcile all the things with Anakin. You know, he might say, "Why did you leave? Why did you leave me there?" And then she might say, "Why did you turn?" Right? Mm-hmm. You know, why did you kill all those people? Why did you become the thing you know, you were supposed to destroy? And
it was because of you. I learned it watching you. No, like that.
Maybe
that'll be it.
Maybe, but I think that's a really
He'll just turn
exciting.
into a sniveling baby again. That's all Hayden Christensen can do. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, I think he'll do lots of like sideways head turns and like look away and then look back kind of thing.
Love
you know,
love it. That Balin and Ahsoka fight.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on it?
I feel like they were just sort of sussing each other out, weren't they? They were just sort of going, oh yeah, a little bit here, a little bit. He was obviously using the dark side, using his anger, his rage, you know, a few wild swings and whatever, and you know, it was a little bit odd. Like, yeah, how it ended was, for whatever reason, she decided to trust him to not attack her. Right? She thought, well, he's obviously going to attack Sabine, which is interesting, right? So that means, for example, that she couldn't sense that he was about to.
He didn't want to fight. You could tell from the start he didn't want to fight.
Well, he was reluctant.
Yeah.
But once it started, he was like, right.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't against it. He was just like, do we have to? Do we really have to?
Yeah.
My thought was, what I noticed really was how he had that big two-handed broadsword, and he was coming down on Ahsoka. And it was interesting that Ahsoka only used one saber in this episode for the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't think her two-handed stance would have worked against Balin. I think she needed to have one saber to be able to take those hits, right?
Yeah, I think that's quite consistent with broadsword fighting as well. Like, she needed two hands on the, you know, because that's a chunky saber.
Yeah, exactly. Even though her saber was smaller, she could still get two hands on it and, you know, give her a bit more leverage. Because I think that's what she was looking for. Because having that much distance on, he's got a nice fulcrum to just, you know, whip down that saber on her with between two hands, and the force that both hands can create, right? There was even at the very end where she was trying to like hold, you could tell she want, like, if it was like an old school sword fight, she would have put her hand up against the blade and held his blade back, but instead she just used the force to do it, right?
Yes.
And then the last thing I wanted to note, that when Ahsoka force throws Chill, she stops her at first and then hucks her. The whole thing looks dark side to me, right? Because
I mean, I would have done it.
I would have done it too, but I mean, like, when you see someone force push, usually it's like their chest, their back. She literally stopped her by like the neck or something, and then her head hit the rock. Like she wanted to damage her.
She was trying to incapacitate her. For sure.
I think incapacitating would have just been like throwing her against the rock. She wanted to do damage. She wanted a concussion. She wanted brain damage, because Sabine was dead in her mind, right, at the time, so she lost it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Ahsoka's not an exclusively light side.
She's not a Jedi.
Of the Force user.
Yeah.
That's right. She's in between.
And so is Ezra, technically.
Right.
So I think we might see that kind of stuff. And then again, I'm going back. Sabine is going to be a dark side user. I know it. She's going to be a good guy dark side user. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, because the thing is, right, let's think about this logically, first of all. This series and a few others lead towards one movie that they're going to
I thought it was a movie trilogy.
It's a trilogy, but only one of those movies relates to this.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. I think one of them's like an Old Republic, one's something else, and there's one that Dave Filoni's directing. I think it's in 2028 or something like that. I don't know. One of them in there. From the definition that I understand is that the dark side is by nature selfish, and selfishness and a want for power and passion, and
the way I look at it
like
is the dark side is inward and the light side is outward, kind of thing.
Okay.
So like the Jedi, the light, they're selfless, where the dark side are selfish. So it's just to go along with your theory. I think, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting concept to explore, you know, if they do decide to do that, because maybe we reach a situation where Sabine might be showing that she's wanting to do something for the greater good, but in reality it's really for her good.
Exactly.
Or something like that. That would be the use of the dark
for
side.
her broken heart, yeah, because she misses Ezra. It's for her, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to think about. Does that lead to a sort of redemption arc? You know, like a Vader going back to Anakin sort of scenario, or a who else? Which other ones? Anyway, that kind of thing where it's like, well, or you know, Ben Solo coming back from Kylo Ren. I don't know. I'm not sure how I'd feel about that being done again, but at the same time, they like making lots of callbacks.
Truly. All right, my man. Any last thoughts on the episode? Good episode. Great way to end the mid-season. Would you done it any better? Would you done it any different? What is it? What do you got?
Being a professional director myself.
Yes.
Yes. Well, look, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the series. I think we've got an interesting concept. Like, a lot of this has got to be revealed in the next 4 episodes. So I guess we're going to cover a lot of ground, right? Because we haven't covered a lot so far, really. We've got the band back together. You know, Ahsoka's supposedly going to take Sabine on as her learner. We've realized that we can go intergalactic. There you go.
Intergalactic.
That's right. and Sabine has gone with old mate. But I mean, apart from that, not much has happened, right? So let's see. It's sort of a. I feel like we're about chapter 5 out of a 20-chapter book. You know what I mean? Like, we've just finished the intro. That's what it feels like.
Oh, it totally feels like, yeah, we're establishing something. We're not even at the big part yet.
Yeah, and maybe this series only gets us to chapter 8 or 9.
Do you think they're
right?
working towards some sort of? And I don't know how bad how far I want them to go with this, but some kind of like end game event for Star Wars.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And they just can't. They can't
So
help
we're gonna have
themselves.
portals from the world between worlds where Anakin steps through and Qui-Gon comes in and Mace comes through and they all
I
fight.
wouldn't go that far.
No, oh, okay,
Maybe with animated characters.
okay,
Because you've got a hardcore fan base there.
and budgets.
It can be its own thing, right? As soon as you start involving Skywalker Saga characters, I think it gets pretty messy because then it starts to involve like the casual fans, or people that will show up just because it's a Skywalker movie. You know, if you're reaching a situation where, say, episode 10 comes around, and they're like, oh, you know, who's this person with horns, and who's, you know, how did Mace Windu come back, and how this and that and whatever. Like, people confused enough when Darth Maul came back in the Solo movie. And that had been that. I mean, how many seasons of Clone Wars had he featured in? Like 4, I reckon.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like the thing is, right, Marvel did it. It was good. It was fun.
But Marvel's owned by Disney.
I know, and they love making money. They love squeezing every dime out of anything. Old Disney, but look, I know that they're going to try and do it. I hope they don't mess it up too much. At the end of the day, like, as long as it's a coherent story, it's all going one way, and it all makes sense that there's one event happening at the end. I guess that's probably fighting Thrawn. I mean, it can only be one thing, because we're in between timelines. We're going to reach episode 7, and if Thrawn's running around doing his own thing,
I think we see Thrawn next episode. Like, even if it's at the very end of the episode.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah, they'll leave it on Thrawn for sure.
Right?
Actually, no. I retract that. I think we leave the world between worlds at the end of episode 5.
Oh, you
I
don't?
think
It's
I think
all Ahsoka?
we're going to get really bogged down next episode. Like, this is going to be the most action, or not action. This is going to be the most jam-packed 20 minutes you've ever seen, and they're going to go, well, that's an episode. Slap. And then we'll, maybe get to Thrawn. I honestly, I think this series is going to have a very flat ending.
Oh no, really?
I do, because they're not just going to finish on like, oh, that's the end of the story. It's going to go like, oh wow, anything could happen from here. You're going to have to watch Ahsoka season 2, and this series, like the Book of Boba Fett is for the Mandalorian. They're going to do it. They're going to. They can't stop sticking their hand in the honey pot.
Speaking of why we're making a series, we're making a podcast, and why? I don't know. Why are we making a podcast?
Because you asked me, would you like to make a podcast? And I said, yes, that sounds like fun.
That works.
That's why we make
Good enough for
yes.
me. And I mentioned before we start hitting recording that one of the best ways to do a podcast, one of the best things to do in the first episode, is kind of get to know your hosts. I don't know if you want to keep doing this thing with me, Barracuda, but as we'll call you a guest host this episode, and then maybe next episode you're the full host. But I figured whenever someone's new behind the mic and new behind the podcast, we got to get to know you. So I've got, I think, 25 quick fire questions for you.
All right,
okay.
Let's do it.
Let's ready?
I'm on probation. I've got to focus.
Okay, so try and just give me the first answer that pops in your head, or the most honest answer. There isn't a time limit, but there's a clock ticking.
Okay.
You ready?
Get that bleeper ready.
How do you take your tea or coffee? What do you do with it?
Just a little dash of milk. Just a little dash of milk. Sometimes I'll put a little, little end of honey in it, but apart from that, pretty simple.
And just
English breakfast.
Breakfast. Okay, yeah. Coke or
Yep.
Pepsi?
Coke.
Oldest game you remember playing?
Nintendogs. It wasn't mine though.
Nintendogs.
Yeah, it was someone else's. They bought it to school.
Do you remember what
And-
kind of dog you were playing?
It was some like little Labrador thing. I remember having like the stylus on the DS, just sort of like scratching it. I thought it was amazing.
What's the oldest game you remember pirating? AKA playing without paying for it, right? Illegally. Doesn't mean borrowing a friend's though.
No, that was yeah. That's just called theft. No, I think Minecraft.
Minecraft. Okay,
Minecraft.
that's an interesting.
Yeah, we played
one.
that. We played that for a year in school.
Besides Star Wars, what's your favorite sci-fi or fantasy series?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Fair enough. 10-pin or 8-pin bowling? The big balls or the little
8-pin
balls?
What's 8-pin bowling?
I think I might have the number of how many pins it is, but it's like the big balls with the holes in the fingers or the little balls that you can palm.
Well, I've only played the big one, so let's say the big one.
Okay, 10-pin it is. Describe to me the taste of Vegemite, please.
In how many words?
As many as you think it needs.
Or how long you got, mate?
Oh, a brief
Look at the
description.
calendar. Okay, well, I've actually got a jar of Vegemite next to me.
No, I
and
don't want you to read the
don't-
ingredients. I want you to describe to me, to someone who's never had it. You spread it on toast. It's kind of a brown color. What do you do next?
Well, it's sort of blacky brown. Look, Vegemite is, very, very salty. Very salty. I'm just giving it a sniff. I don't. It's not a particularly nice flavor. It's not a particularly nice smell. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. But look, it's sort of like a salty, savory. It's packed full of umami, right? I just want to
what?
drop that word in. Umami.
What is that?
Well, you've got salty, sweet, sour, spicy. Well, not spicy. I don't know, all the different flavors. Umami
Right.
is one of those. It's the umptiousness, right? Like you have like Parmesan cheese on your
okay.
pasta.
Okay.
That sort of.
Yep.
It's very similar to that.
Kind of musty, but not like musty's not the right word, but it's probably the closest I could get.
Yeah, like in red meat. You know how it's yeah, so sort of like that undernote. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
There's some chefy types.
So it's kind of got like that kind of texture, feeling, flavor to it.
Yeah, that's right. It's got a full body kind of taste. It's very unique, but it's good for you. My grandpa always used to say, "You go eat up that, mate. That's gonna put hairs on your chest." And
I bet it would put hair in your chest.
No, it hasn't really.
Oh no, you need to eat
scratches it.
more. Mix it in with
But
your tea.
my grandma used to say, "Oh, it'll make your hair go curly," and that is true. It has made my hair go curly,
great.
so that's it.
Even better then.
Beautiful.
Who is your hero, fictional or real?
Well, okay, I'm gonna go an overload of sweetness here. I'll say my dad.
Oh, how come?
Well, he's a good bloke.
Good enough. Most recent game that you've walked away from, rather you finished it or you just had to put it down.
Oh, I do this a fair bit. I don't know. Most recent. Do you know what? I tried to play one of the WWE games not long ago, and apart from making the most insane looking characters and watching them, walk out like lunatics. Yeah, apart from that game, I forget which one it was, but it was absolutely horrific to play. I played it with two other friends, and we couldn't work out how to finish the game. It was so comical. We had these 700-pound giants just carrying tables and ladders around, and we're just like, we don't know what to do. Anyway, that
reminds me
put it down.
of playing an old WWE on the SNES with my friends, and we'd only play 2-player because we didn't know how to pin. And so you're right, you couldn't finish the match.
That's right. And it was just like, yeah, it was like a construction game all of a sudden. We're just stacking tables up. And, yeah,
You were playing
just had to
Minecraft then.
accept. Well, that's right. Yeah.
What's the next game you want to pick up?
Ooh, I'd love to play. Mario Kart. That's one.
Okay.
Because I've had so many casual experiences playing Mario Kart, but also another one I really want to play is SnowRunner. I really want to play SnowRunner. I want to get into the winching. All right.
Is your bed made right now?
Oh God, no.
Do you have a hidden talent?
I was gonna say if you ask is my bed washed? I don't think I've washed it this year.
No, I just
either.
asked if it's made.
It's definitely not made. What was the question? Sorry.
Do you have a hidden talent?
No.
Do you have any pets?
No.
Have you ever had any pets?
No.
Oh, sorry. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Aliens?
Yes.
Bigfoot?
Of course. No.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Flying or super strength?
Well, I'm gonna have to say flying, aren't I?
Money or happiness?
Money buys you happiness, kids.
Your go-to karaoke song?
Oh God, I can't sing.
I'm not asking you to sing it. I'm just saying, what is
Well,
it?
I mean, by definition, would be required. I don't know. I've never done karaoke.
Me either. What would you do though? Like, what song would you do? Candle in the Wind?
Call Me Maybe.
Elton John?
Okay.
Call Me Baby.
No.
Good call. Good call. That's a callback. Your most recent impulse buy?
I bought the 2 levels on Hitman behind a paywall, and I don't know.
Were they
I'm
on
still on the
sale?
fence
Were
about
they
it.
on, like, were they full price?
No, because I was doing a playthrough on stream. I watched twitch.tv/FlyingBarracuda. There you go.
Good plug, mate. Good plug.
I almost botched it. But yeah, I was doing a playthrough and I was about an hour in. We'd finished one level and it said, well, guess what? You've unlocked the next level. And then it was like,
You've
well,
unlocked
guess what?
the ability to pay for the next level.
Yeah, there you go. $30.
Oh!
You're welcome.
Ouch!
And I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I will do it.
Do it. Okay. What mythical creature would you be?
Mythical creature.
Yeah.
So you're saying unicorns don't exist?
Well, I think it would still be classified as a mythical creature even if it existed.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. What would I be?
I'd be one of like
Some
those
kind of-
liger things, or where it's like you're a lion with a scorpion tail and
Oh,
bird wings or something. That's what I'd be.
I thought you were talking about like a lion crossed with a tiger, because I know that the Russians did that.
No, I mean like actual mythical, like
Right.
Halloween stuff.
Do you know what? I'll answer your question. I'll say a dragon.
Just a regular dragon. Anything special about your dragon?
It flies.
It's got wings and it flies. Scaly.
Yep.
Green.
Maybe it's got a mullet.
Mullet. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What motivates you the most, my friend?
Wow, that's actually a deep question. What motivates me? Honestly, I don't know.
Haven't found it yet.
Well, that's it, you know?
Hunting for that passion.
I don't think I need it, to be
Well,
honest.
then, you know what? With that, I'm going to ask you the last question. This is 25. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a sports commentator. That's what I want to
Esports
be.
or regular or real sports?
No,
Does it
regular
matter?
sports.
Okay.
No, I could do that. Right? You know, like the
So-
the stereotypical baseball caller guy. You know, he's out on the road, 162 games. I could do that, and I could do that year after year after year, easily.
I love it. I love it. Thank you
I'm a
for answering
sports
my 25
nut.
questions. I got one more right up the end here, though. You're streaming, like you mentioned, over at Flying Barracuda or twitch.tv/FlyingBarracuda.
That's right. Yes.
What's the plans for this week on stream, my friend? I noticed that you haven't posted. This is what I love about your Discord and your stream and your channel. If I want to know what's going on in the world of Barracuda, I hit up the announcements channel and I can see your schedule for the week and what you're planning on streaming. I
That's
love
right.
that. Do you have a sneak peek for us? Because it looks like you haven't updated this week just yet.
No, I haven't, because I haven't got around to it.
Do you have any like an
obviously,
idea of what it's
there.
going to be? Like, just doesn't have to be
Yes.
on paper. What's your ideas?
Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Don't
Okay,
worry about that.
What's going on?
Tomorrow, we're going to be finishing...
Which is Tuesday for you, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's right.
Just for
we're
someone's
finishing-
listening and this has already happened, they might have missed this stream.
Well, I hope the podcast doesn't come out before the next stream. I think the next stream's in about 10 hours, so...
It might come out. You never know.
Wow. In which case, if someone listens to it and in that time goes, oh, geez, I'll check out this streamer, I would be very impressed.
You know
even
what?
any this week.
Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. So if you come and check out Barracuda's stream this week after listening to this, we need a secret word so that we know that this person came from the podcast or listen.
Honestly,
to
just come in and go bananas. Just type a whole heap of just spam nonsense
so
if you
spam
want.
bananas, and Barracuda
okay.
will know you heard this.
I probably will have forgotten, but Game will know.
Well,
okay?
you'll be
Game
like,
will
why
know
the
and
fuck are you
everyone will know.
spamming bananas?
Honestly, that's par for the course for my stream. Let's face it.
Fair enough. So Tuesday, back to Tuesday. Sorry.
Yes, we're going to be finishing our Hitman. We were trying to 100% Paris, right? We're doing every single challenge, every single weapon, the lot through that map. And it was taking way too long. I realized I was probably going to need 12 hours, so we split it in half. We're going to be finishing that tomorrow. So like, we've got stuff we've got to do. We've got to push people off a building, land on other people, all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah. Wednesday, I'm coming back to Gran Turismo. I know there's been heaps of people. Most of my community, well, early parts of my community all started from there. So
When I found you through friends and stuff, you were playing all the Gran Turismo, the racing games. If I know you consider yourself a variety streamer, and you are. I'm not saying you're not, but if there was one game, it's the Gran Turismo is your thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great stream game to play because, you know, it's chill to watch. You can get involved.
I love
all
getting
that
clips when you
stuff.
crash. It's great.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of rivalries when you're racing people online. But yeah, so Wednesday I'm coming back to that. The thing is, right, I was a bit concerned about it just being, you know, rinse repeat content week in, week out. So we've got some challenges this week we're going to do. I think we're going to piggyback off some online stuff as well. So I think
what we should do, or you should do in your channel, you can set up polls. So if you're going to do a challenge, you should set up polls based around those challenges. Like, is Barracuda going to do it this time? Will Barracuda do it in under this amount of time? That'd be kind of fun to get some engagement going, eh?
Well, that's right. Now, yes, we can do polls. That was requested on Saturday, and well, it's available. So,
Boom.
You know, it's a quick
Thursday.
turnaround.
Thursday, no stream?
Chess. Thursday, no stream. Friday, we're playing chess.
Is chess
we're getting
always
better
on
game.
Fridays?
It is.
Okay.
I don't know. It's become the Friday thing.
Friday
right?
chess
I'm a
day.
bit fresh off my day off. I'm ready to focus for 6 hours playing chess repeatedly until I have a mental breakdown.
Do you know what I
And
like
think
about this guy? That when he's streaming chess is he has in his description and stuff saying that, you know, I'm a learner. I suck at this. Please don't be mean to me and stuff like
I
that.
don't say that.
Yeah, no, you do. And then you go and actually, he's like, come play a match, and then you play a match, and he handed you your ass. Like, I've been playing chess my whole life. I'm not some kind of grandmaster, but I'm not bad at chess. But I sure feel it when I play against Barracuda. Like, he's mean. He hunts you.
I've only been playing a couple months.
No, it doesn't feel. But you know what it is? You know what it is, though? You also look up
Big
moves.
brain?
You look up moves. You look up strategies. You're watching the YouTube videos on how to, you know, trap a guy. And I don't think I've ever done that. I just play the.
I don't think I've done that either. I don't
You
know where
have. I've
got that
seen you
from.
do it on stream.
Maybe.
No, deny
We
it.
also watch some other questionable stuff. We won't reference that.
No. And then Saturday, another stream day usually.
Now Saturday is a very exciting day this week because we're going to go back to the vastly popular Super Seducer stream that we did last Saturday, and this time we're not doing the male levels, we're doing the female levels. So we're gonna find out how to hook up as a woman.
Back up a sec. Explain to me, what's Super Seducer?
Super Seducer is, I think, one of the greatest games ever. It's basically, it's not a great, gameplay experience. It's basically a collection of cutscenes. It's like a choose your own adventure through
It's
a date.
a visual
And
novel.
That's right, and it takes you on a little journey. Okay, Richard goes.
No. It's a dating sim. Let's be honest.
A little bit, but I mean, and Richard gives you advice. It's great. You rock up.
And so last Saturday you played through as the guy, and then this Saturday you're going to play through as the girl.
That's right.
So it's going to get even spicier. It feels like.
Well, we'll see. We'll see because the best result I got last time, I got ghosted 3 of the 4 times. The one other result was an office-based sexual assault. So I think we might find that I might be more seductive as a woman, which will open
well, I'll put it this way. When I meant spicy, I don't know about you. I would do things differently if I was a woman. I would, especially if there was no consequences and I'm playing a game. Right? So I think that's why it might get a bit more spicy.
Well, it got pretty spicy. There was all kinds of stuff happening in the game. I'm sure you can always check out the VOD. But
go check out the VOD while you still can. Over at twitch.tv/FlyingBarracuda. News, video game news. All right, so I thought this would be a good kind of time. I've always wanted to talk about video game news. It's a hard habit of me to try and keep up on current events, especially around video games. I'm a lifelong Nintendo fanboy, so today we are having some very, very heavy Nintendo-based news. Kuda, what do we got up here first with this first story? What one are we looking at first?
Well, the one in front of me is Nintendo reportedly gave private Switch 2 demos to developers.
So I know you and I have been talking about, you said so even in the interview that Mario Kart was one of the first games you want to pop on. Sounds like maybe if you don't have a Switch yet, it might be time to just skip it. Because apparently, was it 2 weeks ago now? Whenever Gamescom was over in Cologne, Germany, I guess that was on August. There was rumors coming out from more than one places, including Eurogamer. There was a video game developer, I think, that leaked some of that information. It sounds like Nintendo has been showing developers behind closed doors some new hardware testing. In fact, one of the test programs was Breath of the Wild, running at a higher frame rate with a higher resolution, and apparently it just looked gorgeous.
I presume it would do.
They were also using the Matrix. There's apparently a Matrix Reloaded demo that uses Unreal 5 engine and ray tracing and stuff. Like, this is talking like power of the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation Series level consoles. This and apparently, see, I don't know if I've heard anywhere that they've said that it's a portable, but the assumption is that this Switch 2 will be a portable that'll be on par with the next gen consoles. How does that make you feel?
I mean, if you're a Switch owner now, I think you'd be pretty upset. But I mean, they've been out a fair while. The Switch
I think we're going on 8 years now.
Oh, well, in that case, you've had a go. But it's 2024. That's not too far away, is it?
No, and that's the rumor when it's coming out. I wouldn't suspect we see it. Maybe announced sometime around Christmas time. Personally, the best time for them would be during the Game Awards, because I believe those happen after Christmas, and most people would that's financially as a business. I think that's your best time to announce it. They released the original Switch. I remember it was in January. I remember standing outside out in line for it. So they're not afraid to launch a console outside of the holiday window.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting upgrade. So the upgrades that it's supposedly going to have are basically just hardware upgrades. As in, like the Switch itself will be largely similar in shape and function and whatever, but it's going to have a better output.
So I don't have the actual links for it, but it looks like as of this morning there was another news place reporting that there is new patents for new Joy-Con. So it sounds like they might even be upgrading the Joy-Con, giving them Hall sensors so they don't have the drift problem they did with the original Switch. We don't know. So far, all we know is that they were testing this hardware. They were using this really cool, I think, DSSL technology that allows them to take like a 720p image and upscale it. And they're using like apparently the newest 3.0 version of it, and like they're going to be able to get on par things. Who knows if that's going to be all on a little 720p handheld or if it's going to be a desktop console.
Yeah, I mean, it's very early, obviously, but the fact that they're even developing a Switch 2 in itself is quite exciting, isn't it?
What blows me away, honestly, though, is that it doesn't feel like a Nintendo thing to me. As a Nintendo lifelong, I've been following it. If you look at the original Game Boy, it's known for using older, cheaper, reliable chips that have proven themselves to be reliable in the original Game Boy. And then they did the same thing with the Game Boy Light, Pocket, which had a little bit better processor. Game Boy Color had a bit more, but they were all old. Even the Nintendo Switch, all the way up to the Nintendo Switch, they were already using a 5-year-old chip in the Nintendo Switch. So that chip's almost 12, 13 years old now that's in the Nintendo Switch. So for them to be taking advantage of current, like I also would make the argument that if you look at the Wii and things like Super Mario Galaxy, they finally jumped up to 1080p 60 frames a second, which was the standard at the time, while it was still there. So it feels like Nintendo's going too far and they're trying to now jump in and compete on graphics, which is something they've never done before.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, most of their games are very rooted in animation style and stuff like that. So you don't need, mega graphics for the most part. You're not going to compete with some of the more visually appealing role-playing games, what they call them?
Sure, yep.
Yeah, that feature more on that other consoles and whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not up with it and all that. But any sort of,
these are rumors.
That's right. But even if they are looking at upgrading quality and whatever, if that means more cross compatibility, with
that's
other
the
games
other thing
coming out.
One guy that did comment on it was saying new cartridge slot, which has me quite concerned because I would have no problem dropping however much money Nintendo wants on a Switch 2 if I could still pop my Switch cartridges in it. I have way too many Switch games I haven't played. I would love to play them on some better hardware. Please make it backwards compatible.
Well, I mean, that's part of what makes the PS5 so good, is because you can play all of the games all the way back to the PS1 on it.
Without having to repurchase them on their new format too, right?
Well, that's right. And
like, I don't know how many times I've paid for the original Super Mario Brothers because you keep buying it for each platform, right? Like that's a podcast episode. We could go through all the releases and see if I've bought them because there's a lot, dude.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I can think of three right now. Like I have the original. I have Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo. I have the 35th anniversary Game & Watch sitting right next to me. I remember I bought the Game Boy Color port for the original Mario Brothers. Like, the list goes on. How many times they suckered me.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is you haven't learned your lesson.
What you're hearing is I am a cuck for Nintendo.
Oh, I see. So Switch 2 sounds like something for you then.
I'm in.
All right.
What's next? What's the next one you're looking at?
New interview with Zelda boss suggests there are no plans for Tears of the Kingdom DLC.
You and I were talking about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and you asked me, what do you think? Is there going to be a DLC? And I said, yep, they're going to be announcing it here and this and that. Apparently, good old Eiji Aonuma has come out and said, and I'll read the quote here. This is a translation, mind you, because he's a Japanese sir. So there might be some things lost in translation, but I don't think there's going to be a lot here. There are no plans to release additional content this time. But that's because I feel we've done everything we can to create fun in the world. In the first place, the reason I decided to make this a sequel to the previous work was because I thought there was value in experiencing a new game in that Hyrule place. If that's the case, if a new reason arises, we might return to the same world again. Whether it's a sequel or a new work, I think it's going to be a completely new game. So I hope you're looking forward to it. So,
Well,
time to give up hope, or is this just distraction? Agi Anuma has also been famous for quote-unquote leaking information. I remember like years and years and years before, I think we were still on the Wii U, he mentioned something about a Skyward Sword. Wouldn't you guys, it's great, blah, 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 and we all know which game we really want to play. And he like he said something from Skyward Sword. And then what was it, 4 years later, we finally got Skyward Sword on the Switch. So are these things, like, Nintendo's been planning things for a while. Is this just, are they using Agi Anuma to be like, just squeal, and then announce it? Or are we legit not getting it? What do you think, man?
Well, I mean, it's a pretty complete game. For a start, like...
Breath of the Wild felt complete too, though. True.
But, like, even when you zoom out on the map, it's like most things are pretty well populated and whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's good DLC or not, the fact that I think, from someone hearing the quote for the first time, it sounds like at least they're working on new projects. So whether that takes the form of, or would have taken the form of the DLC.
He's not saying Zelda's done, is what you're saying. They're already working on the next idea. They're like, what can we do next? They're already thinking about it. Yeah.
That's right. And I think they're like, well, we've got an idea ready-made we're working on. There's not much point in us going back to a game that only just came out, the start of this year, and going, well, we'll add a little bit here and there and whatever. We'll go, hey, there's a game coming out, if not next year, the year after. You can sink your teeth into that and fully, flesh out what you've currently got. Go for it, kind of thing.
So this is my now, only because what have you just said, you popped this into my head. Traditionally, it's not uncommon for people to recognize a new console with a new Zelda game. The Switch launched with one. I forget what other ones launched with them, but Zelda always came shortly after the launch, if not close to the end of well, near the end, because if you look at it with the Wii U, it was near the end of the Wii U life cycle. It was supposed to be a Wii U game, and then the Switch was coming out. Are we so close to the Switch 2 that they're like, why we're already working on the Switch 2 game, or we're working on the Switch 2 port of Tears of the Kingdom that has extra DLC anyways that we couldn't put in the original game?
I would think so. And even thinking about the previous article as well, think about like a game like, and I hate to say it, but GTA 6 potentially coming out next year or the year after. They're talking about a console that's capable of greater graphics.
Exactly.
Frame rate, stuff like that. Maybe they're trying to make sure that they're able to get into the bigger game sort of market as well.
So they can get their customers in on the bigger platform of games because their hardware can actually handle it. Because 100%. You're right, because there are a few games that the Switch can't handle that are still on the Switch, but they're streaming games. You have to stream them off a server onto the Switch. So you're right there.
Yeah, that's right. Look, just adding the one and one together, that could be particularly like the graphics output, stuff like just the PS5 for reference. Comparing that to the Switch of 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's kind of night and day. So I'm sure they, everyone's interested in a bit of coin here and there. So I'm sure they're thinking, hey, we'll create a new console, new whatever, in order to cash in on people looking for a new game, or keen for another game to come out, and yes, it's going to be available on our platform as well.
Exactly. So I think if that's maybe the reason why they're not doing any DLC, then I'm actually kind of okay with that. If they're just going to start working on the next game for the next console.
So you've come full circle.
I'm in. Speaking of DLC, though, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet now have their DLC releasing this week. I was watching, and I don't have the link here, an Austin John video that was talking about how it's supposed to be released on the 13th, but because of international hoo-ha, blah, 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 it's going to be apparently released around like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock my time, which I don't know what that would be. That would probably be early, so 10, middle of the day, middle of the morning for you on Tuesday. So actually you would be Wednesday, but it would be my Tuesday night. So that's what it's all confusing and everything, but the brand new DLC comes out. We're going to see the teal mask is the only half we're seeing. There is going to be the indigo disc and the teal mask. Those are two different parts of the DLC. The indigo disc is coming out at a later date. The whole package is called The Hidden Treasures of Area Zero. You're not
Okay.
into a Pokemon much, hey?
I've never played Pokemon. I had 8 Pokemon cards that I found from somewhere, which I believe is not enough to play a Pokemon game. I don't even know
I
how
don't believe
Pokemon
so.
works.
I don't believe so, no.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
Yes. We're stepping out a little bit. What is the most exciting part of this DLC, or what is, to come in this DLC? What is exciting about it?
I think for me the thing I'm looking forward to the most is that Scarlet and Violet had one of the better stories that than we've had in a long time in Pokemon. It did something unique. It had an open world where you could still go and do one of 3 different storylines in any order you wanted. It sounds like this is just going to be adding just one more little storyline. It doesn't sound like you have to finish the game to do it. So you could even do a fresh play and jump over to this new thing and enjoy things like returning Pokemon that we haven't had. Because I mean, there's almost like 500 or something more now. So not all the Pokemon made it into Scarlet and Violet. So we're going to be getting some more of those guys showing up. There's 3 new, I'm going to call them legendary. They might be mystics. They seem really cool. There's a doggo one. There's a, a monkey one. And I forget was it a cat? Probably a cat. No, it was a bird, some kind of swan. Those guys are cool. And then there's a new Pokemon called Ogremon that seems to be like kind of shady. He's hiding behind these like Japanese traditional masks and stuff. That's the part I'm kind of looking forward to the most. Unfortunately, Indigo Disc is the part that has me really excited because it looks like you get to explore some really cool new terrain, find some starter Pokemon that you weren't able to get in the game or previously in this generation at all. But that one doesn't come out till a later date. We don't know when that one's coming out. But by buying the DLC, you get both the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disc. So you're buying one, get to play half of it now and half of it later once it's done being made.
Blind faith.
Yeah, and you know what? I think to shorten up my long-winded answer, I'm also really excited to play and experience Pokemon with my son. It's something that I've always enjoyed through my whole life, and it's fun to share it with him.
Yeah. Also, the takeaway I had out of all of that, did you say there was 500 of them?
Let me Google it. Okay, Google, how many Pokemon are known so far? That's how they used to say it. Oh, my bad. There's 1,015. 66 of those are legendary.
Are there people out there that know the names of each of those?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I don't know if they'd be able to recite them to you, though. But like in the old cartoon, what they used to do between commercials is before the commercial break, they'd be like, "Who's that Pokemon?" And there'd be like a silhouette of the Pokemon, and you try and guess it. So there's people that there's websites like Cerebi that just for fun have a daily "Who's that Pokemon" post where they post a silhouette and you try and guess who it is. So in that case, I think there is a lot of people that could be able to just recognize a Pokemon by their silhouette and know all of their names and be able to do that.
Well, they sound like people I would not like to meet. Well, we're moving on. I've decided.
Last news story. This one's a bit of a geeky one. I know the last one was a little far for Barracuda. I'm not sure how much you're into this, but I am in love with the little handheld Game Boy style retro emulation consoles. Right now to date, the smallest one we have is the Ambernick RG Nano. It's almost too small if you ask me. In this article we have down at the bottom, there's a picture of the RG Nano. It's in blue lined up on the left. And then the 2 on the right are the Miu Mini and the Miu Mini Plus. We're getting a new one from what is it? GKD. I always get the letters wrong. GKD. It's called the Pixel, and it's coming in October. This little guy looks awesome, and we haven't even seen the front of it.
So let me get this straight. You're playing
these
retro
are leaked
games.
photos, by the way. These are leaked photos. These aren't official photos. These are just someone who got their hands on one of the units and is posting the differences. So finish your question.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
So basically, it's a palm size.
It looks like a Game Boy. Yeah. Okay, call it a Game Boy. Yeah, it's a Game Boy.
And you play retro games on it.
You can put any old retro game on it you want. You find the ROM if you have the ROMs for the games. Put them on an SD card. Put the SD card in this, and Bob's your uncle. You're playing Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis, Depending on the powerful, how powerful each one of these things are, you could play all the way up to PlayStation 2 on some of them.
Struth.
It's crazy, and these just fit in your pocket. So this guy looks even smaller than the Miu Mini, which was already, I think, people's favorite size without going too small. So it's going to be interesting when this Pixel launches in October. If it takes
I'm
the
curious.
reign.
I'm curious about just how small it is. Either the model that's holding it has got the biggest fingers in the world, or this thing is absolutely microscopic.
It has a 2-inch display.
Was that average?
No, that's just like, that's the screen of the size of its screen from one corner to the other corner is 2 inches. So it's very small.
You'd need like a magnifying glass to see it. Like,
Well, and that's what
this
people were
wouldn't be
complaining about the Nano, which has like a 1-inch display.
Yeah, like this isn't a great product.
Like when
for
you
the
scroll
vision
down here, you
impaired.
can see the two blue units next to each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
The
at.
one on the right is the Nano that you can buy right now, and it's too small.
Yes. So it's sort of like iPhones, really. Remember back like the iPhone 3, right? And now you think of like an iPhone 13.
Oh,
Like it's about
I haven't
3
told you my
times
whole
size.
theory about the pendulum theory when it comes to technology.
Please do.
So my pendulum theory, real quick before we wrap up the show here. Technology swings on a pendulum. Music does it too. This is not my original idea. My music teacher at radio school, so not teaching music, but talking about and playing music. He had this theory where it was a pendulum where music will swing one way and then it'll swing another way, especially when you're talking about like CHR or top 40 music. It'll swing into the R&B for a while, and then it'll swing over back to the pop, and then it'll swing back over to the R&B, or it'll swing back over to like the rock music and it just comes and goes. And where I feel technology does it is technology gets bigger and then it gets smaller, and then it gets bigger and then it gets smaller, right? So phones, for traditionally when we had flip phones, they were pretty big. Before flip phones, they were pretty big, and then they started transitioning into smaller phones, and now we have huge phones, and then we're going back to small devices. It's back and forth. There's no happy in between.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I look, to be fair, I think they've gone a little too small. I can actually
I'm with
see.
you.
I can see the fingerprints on the index finger of this guy, and like the pixels are so much smaller
I
than that.
honestly think
Like,
that
how the hell are you gonna-
pixel is probably the size of a credit card,
Yeah.
or like a credit card holder at the least.
Like, what kind of thumbs do you have to be able to operate this thing?
We should get you one. We should send you over a Miu Mini and see what you think of it. Get a review.
I'm always up for free stuff. Hey.
Yeah, we should see if we can get a sponsor for one.
Oh, a sponsor. This is our first attempt
Yeah.
talking. All right. Yep. No, I like that.
We'll just, we'll
mean,
be like, we've got this podcast. We want to review your product. They don't ever check how many episodes your podcast has.
Oh, well, in that case, I want a KFC sponsorship. So whenever we do this,
We could just be eating
some
chicken.
hot KFC gets delivered to my door, and I go, thanks.
I love
It's
that.
Time of the week again.
I
Tune in.
love that.
All right. Yeah.
I think that's a great way
We
to
go
wrap
nuts.
up this week's episode. Barracuda, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend.
I've had fun.
I've had
It's been
so
great.
much
Thanks
fun.
for having me.
Recorded for 2 hours now. Like that's a lot of content. Before we
Yes.
wrap up, we need to make sure people can find you. You're really just doing, well, actually, no, there's 2 places people can find you. They can find you over at twitch.tv/FlyingBarracuda. Don't forget
That's
the
right,
flying.
yes.
That's very important. And then when you're over there, I believe you have a Discord link there too, don't you?
I have several.
Yeah. So, and if you can't get one, come chat with us. Or even leave a link in the comments. We'll leave a. Are you cool leaving a link to the Discord in the notes here?
Oh, you can do whatever you like.
All right,
yeah.
I'll pop a link to Barracuda's Discord over in the notes, and you can check them out there. Or again,
twitch.tv/FlyingBarracuda.
That's right. Yes, for what are we up to? About the 60th time today? If you haven't got it at this point,
we'll start a
well,
drinking game, and every time
I'm
we,
not sure you'd be
we
able to
plug,
operate
we
a
have to
computer.
drink. Yeah.
Well, I think we might have some absolutely clattered listeners if that's going to be our ratio going forward, which I respect. Right, I respect that. I don't know. I've never ended a podcast before, Game. How do we do it?